Hey, it's Don again, and I bet you didn't think you were going to be spending this much time in my garage, did you? Well, where else would it be while we're working on a Jeep CJ-5 restoration project that is quickly starting to get back to the point where it's starting to look like it is going to be an actual Jeep CJ-5. So I'll show you how it happened, but I got my tub, and I'll show you where we're at with brakes and the final frame prep to put that thing on there, and I'll show you some other parts that I got. So we got a lot of stuff to cover. Let's just get on with it here. Got a Jeep tub here finally, so I'll walk you around it really quick. We got the firewall end. I think these are the places that Jay talked about where they kind of make sure everything's good. The brackets for the radiator stabilizer bar, those bars that come up front, he said those are almost never on when these things come in from overseas. So windshield frame here, Fender, looks like there's another fender underneath there, which there should be. And this is our bullet liner. So all well lined up. So yeah, everything looks pretty solid. No issues so far. It doesn't look like with the shipping, except for that windshield frame box looks a little out of line, but I'll pop that open in a minute. So anyway, there we have it. The Jeep tub is here. So now I got no excuses for making this thing, get this thing moved along and looking like a Jeep again. So we'll start working on that. And oh, dashboard is even in there. Did I order a dashboard? I don't remember if I did, but I got one. Dashboard. Glove box. Whole 9 yards. Look at that. No rust in that tub. Imagine that. All right, I got things to do. It's Monday. I'll be back. Hey everyone, I'm down here staring at this pile of stuff on the floor, and it looks like I just had a temper tantrum and threw all my parts down on the floor and stomped away. So this is what we got. Brake goodies, got the tire over here and all this box of brake stuff, and that one box is still full of stuff. So that's obviously for the other side. But I haven't really got the brakes back together yet. I think I mentioned that I'm missing a couple of pieces. There's a bar that goes here that I'll show you. It kind of goes roughly here between the brake pads to keep them positioned, and then there is also the parking brake lever that hooks to one of those so that when we pull the cable, it presses the brakes out. I don't have either of those parts, and so I ordered them. Quadratech had them. Those should be getting here this week, so I think I'll be able to keep things rolling right along here. It's not going to be a problem, but it just made me stop, and I just kind of stopped in the middle and didn't really clean up behind myself. I just left everything on the floor here because, well, who's going to complain at me, right? You guys aren't. So, anyway, right here behind me, this is the tub, and it's got, so I think I mentioned that I ordered it with what they call bullet liner on the bottom here. So the entire bottom is coated with undercoating bullet liner basically. And then you can see this is the firewall. Remember when I was talking about my steering box over there and I was saying if I had a firewall? Well, I got a firewall again, so that's exciting. But I do have stuff that I bought from eastwood.com that is some more of that 2-part firewall paint. So we'll give that a shot of that. And that's some of that stuff that, again, I think if you remember when I did the frame, you kind of puncture the little inner canister in the can, and then you have to use it all up in 48 hours. So the firewall will get that treatment. Oh, stepped on the bubble wrap, sorry. Holy cow, about gave myself a heart attack there. Woo! So the fenders, so I ordered fenders, and this is the inner part of the fender, and I think I'll do the same thing. Now, this is the primer that they put on it over there in the Philippines when they built it, I believe. And so I'll kind of, give that a shot of that firewall paint for there. But if I flip this over, the inner part of the fender also has the bullet liner. So I did ask him to kind of do all the stuff that's going to be facing our salty Salt Lake City roads. All that stuff is getting covered with the bullet liner. And then obviously this is the primed surface for the outside paint. And I am starting to think I'm figuring out what color I'm going to do this Jeep, but we'll get to that later. I'll keep you guessing for now. But that's one of those things that you kind of get excited when you're like, wow, I get to pick any color out under the rainbow and figure out what color I want to do this thing. So I've been thinking a lot about that. I've been looking at a lot of you guys' other builds on the internet. In fact, I think I'm following every CJ-5 other builder out there, and hopefully you're all following me back, and we can cheer each other on and prod each other along when we get depressed or thinking things aren't moving well. But anyway, I think I figured out what color I'm going to do. So, but I'm not going to tell you yet because I might change my mind, because I reserve the right to change my mind. So anyway, for right now, I've got a little dinner to eat tonight, and then I might do a little planning on how I'm going to get this tub laid down. It's facing the firewall into the garage, and the Jeep is facing the firewall direction out of the garage. So I'm 180 degrees backwards. I need to get it spun around, and then ultimately we'll get it laid down and ready to be lifted up and put on the frame. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe I can't build some lift so I can lift part of it up, have it held there with maybe some of the lumber that it came in, and then lift the other end up. And I'm thinking that the engine hoist will help me do some of that. So I'll show you how we accomplish that if we get that done, and maybe make it where it's not like a 10-person job to lift that thing up on there. And then I'm gonna lift it on there. We're gonna get this thing looking like a Jeep, or at least starting to look like a Jeep. So let's let me go eat some dinner, and then I'll come back and share some more of this with you. Okay, well, I've got a couple things I need to take care of here. So item number one is I got to get that bubble wrap out of here, because I think if you were with me, I stepped on that without realizing I was stepping on it. Gave myself a heart attack yesterday. So I'm going to throw that away. I'm going to deal with some of this cardboard and find a place to put the fenders for now, so that I can get the tub spun around here. I think I mentioned that the firewall is facing the back of the garage, and the Jeep frame is, the front of the Jeep is facing the front of the garage. So we got to spin that around. And then I think I have all the parts I need now to get back on the rear brakes, so I can get at least one of these sides put back together. I did talk to the guys at Six States Distributing today on the way home, and he said if I bring my steering knuckles in, they can press the ball joints out. He said they couldn't do it till next week, so I may make a couple phone calls in the morning before I drop them off there, because he's like, well, bring them in and then we'll get to them. So I don't know if everybody's going to be that busy or if just they are, but at least I know they can do them. So that'll keep me moving on the front. I did get a box from Quadratech that I think is my front discs. I'll open that up here in a second and we'll make sure. I got my other U-joint for my axle shafts, so now I have both U-joints for both axle shafts, and so I can put those back together. So I can do back brakes, I can do the axle shafts, have them all ready to go in the front. Was I looking over my shoulder there? Sorry. I have everything I need to get both axle shafts put back together. As I was looking at the hubs here, well, I don't need to show you the mess on the bench, but I kind of think that one of my hub pieces inside where the slider goes up and down is missing all the little springs that hook it together. So I need to do a little research on that. I might need to order some parts for the hubs, but I think I'm kind of back to the point where I can start really actually getting some stuff done. So let's see if we can't get some stuff done, shall we? All right, well, pay close attention, because I'm going to give you one of life's really true things. Drum brakes just suck. They're tedious and annoying, and I'm not in the mood to build them tonight. So I want to get this tub moved over so I can park the car in the garage. I think I have plenty of room to do that if I slide it right over tight here. And since it's going to be upright for a little bit, that's what I'm going to do. So I have just thrown the wheel back on, and I'm going to move the tub over, put the tires back up on my rolly things and get those out of the way, and then I think I can get the car back in the garage. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to leave it that way for a little bit here and get my knuckles put together, and then when I have a little bit more patience, I'll tear into those brakes again. But for right now, I'm not going to do it, and I don't have to, because I'm the boss of this project. So there. All right, well, I did get the tub turnaround. I stuck one of my little rolly things under the back. When I started to do the front, it was getting a little tippy, so I didn't really do the front. I just kind of scooted it around on the floor. But as I'm looking at it here, I do believe that if I slide it over tight against the Jeep, I'll still have room to get the car back in the garage. So I'm going to do that now and get the tires back up on the rolling dolly that I had them on, so that I can get those kind of out of the way and do a little rearranging. And I think, like I said, I think I can get the car back in the garage, which will be okay. And then I'll come back to the brakes when I'm feeling really patient one of these days. But for now, the next order of business will probably be tomorrow. I'll see about getting those steering knuckles done so I can start to reassemble the front end. And then I am going to start on my plan to get the Jeep suspended or somehow ready to go sit back up on the frame here so we can really have room in the garage, and I can move the whole thing around as a unit. So that's what I'll do for now. I'm going to put a wrapper on this thing and come back tomorrow or the next day when I've got something else to show you, because today I just started on the brakes and I was trying to get the camera down there so I could show you what I was doing, and the camera wasn't working and the springs were shooting all over and rolling down the garage floor, and finally I was just like, I've had not the kind of day that puts me in a place to work on brakes tonight, so I abandoned that project for now. So I'll be back when I got something else constructive to show you. Out from under the wheels, get it turned around so that it's facing the right direction, and then start to put my noggin on. Start over.